Now I think you can start the presentation. Yes, and it will start itself. So, what's the point of our case? For our business, I can divide our production in two departments. First is the production of the lubricant materials, and also packaging it in very beautiful packaging with different brand names. First part needs regular deliveries of the materials, and also in those SKUs are 240 for this year. It's not much. Maybe would be able to deal with it without the methodologies and special programs. But the second part needs regular deliveries of the packaging materials, and in total, we have 1,200 SKU for such materials. Each and every one is unique with unique lead times and delivery times and periodical times of deliveries, sometimes with unpredictable way. I'm sorry, your PowerPoint is not switching to the actual slide. I see that you've pushed the button. Maybe you could try to start it again. Maybe push the escape button and start it again. And start the presentation from the actual slide. I'm sorry, colleagues. I think that you didn't share your screen, but only shared the slide. So maybe you can stop the demonstration and try to click on the button on the Zoom and share your screen. It's not maybe switching, but it's switching from one to the other. Okay, let's continue. So we have 1,200 SKUs of the packaging materials. We have tens of suppliers with their own each individual ways of working. So we have ready to send production is the 1,500 SKU of for 60 different brands. The buyers are in 80 countries of the world and all the continents. And of course, each and every one SKU from the production of and all of the material is living its own lives, and with such flow of materials and information we were not able to deal with. So we took the decision to search for methodology and a solution. We have very often the necessity of products that were missing, and we didn't get the information about it. So I also want to tell you about the problem, how to manage the inventory and the deliveries, why people or also a group of very smart people cannot deal with such a problem. Does it depend from the environment where the company is working? I'm telling about the taxes, the climate, the ethnical environment, or do we find the problem in the pandemic? No, pandemic only showed us the weak points and made them obvious. So the solution, maybe we can find it in the nature of our thinking. These limitations are not visible in the normal life, but in this context, we can also call it cognitive distortions, and you see it everywhere. we have premature or maybe delayed reaction to the stimulus. We have distortions for on benefit. We have reevaluation of the importance of initial singular cases, or maybe we have also overestimation of the possibility of repeating such cases. We have overestimation of the connection between some events that are not important for the reality. So we went to the seminars, we listened to the program, and implementation of the system in our reality didn't give us the solution we needed. How could we solve it? We say that a smart person will not go up the hill, he will go around. So sometimes it's not necessary to get all the information. Firstly, you need to accept that every event has its own sense only according to the context. So we need to follow the flow. And we have to interpret all the events only according to the flow, and follow the reconciled methodology and unified system. We chose the methodology DDMRP as a most intuitive and understandable system that didn't require from us any additional information we were not used to. So everything that we needed, we had already in terms of information. So we needed also only to guarantee the rightness and the structural implementation of this information. So what were the times and what were the phases? We started in the summer of 2019, and in the beginning of the 2000, we are working according to this methodology. In the July of 21st, we implemented it in the scale of managing our inventory. My colleague will tell you a little bit more about it. In this process, we went through the educational process, and what did we have to do? We had to clean up the Aegean stables, firstly in the heads. So we had to understand what is reserves, where are those reserves located or have to be located, what reserves and what additional products need to be buffered or have to be buffered. How do we need to, which reserves need to be stocked and which we have to produce only on demand. So what were the results? Our company is growing according to plan. Constantly, we grow in production and we grow in the sales, but our reserves for the 24-hour period went down, and they are keeping there for a year. So if we don't have the necessary products on our inventory and or maybe the amount to deliver, those cases are mostly zero now. So we do not measure constantly the service of the company, but the cases of such kind of shortages are voiced very openly in our team, and we get the information. So we see additional capacities and also the production resources. the inventory of needed materials are adapted to the demand, seasonal demand, and they are balanced. I want to underline that they are balanced. They are not decreased, because we didn't have the goal to decrease the inventory of our raw materials, but we had to. So we didn't want to achieve the decrease, but it happened on its own, because due to the balancing process, it is going to minimization. So the planning of the structures, everyday structures, is not interesting anymore in this context. So it is enough to give the online information about the requests from our customers internally in our system, and what problems did we see while implementing. Firstly, of course, is the human factor. People have their own fears to lose the control of the situation, and the solution was to select the correct motivated experts in our team, and of course give them education to educate them to according to the methodology. Of course, you need also some very strict managing decisions, and also to voice the failures that happened in the past. Unfortunately, not everybody is able to do so while implementing. So the extremely high expectations of the implementation were a problem, because of course not everything will happen instantly, and the success doesn't depend only on the adaptation of the program to the environment, but also from the will of the managing department to implement the system. What limitations could I pinpoint for the implementation of this methodology? Firstly, not in every business you have to manage the inventory according to the demand. Secondly, if the management level doesn't want in a unified manner to change the methodology, you will not have the success. And of course, if you don't have motivated experts, motivated workers in the team of your company, because some external people will not make you happy in this way. So while implementing this methodology of DDMRP, we made, I think, a huge infrastructural step forward to betterment of our culture of the production management. It gives us a very big advantage, and we will continue implementing this methodology in our work with distribution and with distributors, and it also gives us enough fuel to sustain our further development. And at some point, it will give us a possibility to go up on the level of strategical modulation that was already mentioned by other presenters. Thank you to the organization, the organizers of this conference. Thank you for your attention. I'm ready to share the information with you. Thank you. As far as I know, Vitaly also prepared a part of his presentation. So maybe we'll give questions to you afterwards. Of course. Vitaly, good day, colleagues. Do you hear me? Yes. Could you please also share your presentation? Dmitry, can you stop your presentation? Can stop sharing your presentation? Yes, Vitaly, we see your presentation. Wonderful. Thank you very much. Good day, colleagues. My name is Vasily Vitali. I'm from Yuko lubricants, and the next step in implementation of this methodology was to implement it in our regional daughter companies, regional offices. Before we implemented this mechanism, we replenished our reserves without methodology, just according to some personal views of managers. And the quantity of reserves didn't appear big. And according to the very successful result in the production side, we were expecting also positive results in our regional offices. For this project, we also took a working group with the specialists and programmers. The project manager was myself, and we have also the programmer who integrated the system, and the manager for the regional representatives of our client, where we implemented this program. The implementation went on two parallel flows. Technical part was in the integration between the program of the provider and the system. And the second part was organizational. So we changed the business processes, put our executives and PR in the methodology. The project was launched 50 days before the meeting, and we are following up the work of this system also from our side and from the side of our client, and also from the side of the program provider. What were the results in 4 months? The stocks in the regional offices went down from 13 million to 6.5 million hryvnia. And we had a 60% change. The SKU for surplus went from 81% to 45%. You see the blue zone. The qualitative results were the betterment, huge improvement of the service level of the company. We have almost always the needed materials on our inventories, and we don't have the big stock of products that are not needed every day. So due to improvement of turnover, we have some small losses that we could not, that we could ignore. Also, we had some additional results during the implementation of the system. We improved the methodology of calculating the product volume in according to the transport. We have less accounting failures, and the transportation to the regional representations are better. Our further expectations from this system is diminishing of the reserves to 5 million hryvnia. It's while selling the same, and also decreasing surplus of goods to 25%. We're not expecting a zero surplus, because we understood that the client could order the all kind of quantities, maybe just even one unit, and we would like to take it into account and guarantee the quality of a service, also delivering the small amounts. While implementing, we had some problems, not in the technical part, because we had already experience of positive implementation of this methodology in manufacturing. Just the exchange logic became a bit more complex, because we had to differentiate and implement it in the way that the work of different departments does not impede each other. And in organizational parts, of course, the expected position of some managers of regional representatives, they were subjective, and due to the fear to lose control of the process. And of course, I heard all the management of our representatives and every case, and sometimes we found that these fears were not founded in a real problem, or maybe we found some other difficult cases because they were due to some special expectations of the clients, and we tweaked the system accordingly and achieved positive results. This is all from my part. Thank you, and I wish you successful implementation. Thank you very much for your presentation. We have some questions. The first one to Dmitry. Please switch on your micro. Where did you implement the DDMRP for planning of local production of ready goods and imports? It's the whole chain, because it starts somewhere in China, far away, and ends in our production site, where we produce the ready to send goods, and it was implemented in the whole supply chain. Thank you for calculating the buffer for the methodology. We need some specified parameters. Did you have them? Where did you get them from? How much time did you need to get them? Firstly, I can say that we had at least quantity of our problems with the SKUs that needed buffering, because most problems we had with the special inventory that didn't need buffering. Some special know-how was needed. No, I don't need, because this information, we have it in our heads. Maybe the manager of the production site or the other managers have this information. So we just need to get it from them and put these parameters in the system. So that's all.